And then there's probably the favorite part of the conversation here, because we're trying to talk about what to do in terms of anger. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about here, وَالْكَاظِمِينَ الْغَيْظَ وَالْعَافِينَ عَنِ النَّاسِ. That term, كَاظِمِينَ الْغَيْظَ, it's so interesting, subhanahu wa ta'ala, to think about what does Allah mean here. It's anger that he's speaking about. Earlier I said that anger is from Shaytan, and Shaytan is created from fire. So anger is really a spark, a flame that's in one's heart that sparks with anger, right? And it's like when you put water to boil on a kettle, and it gets hotter and hotter and hotter and angrier. But even the steam that comes out of it can actually hurt somebody and cause serious damage, not just the hot water itself. Every part of it becomes something that's damaging. And so anger is like that. You can manifest your anger in speech, in your expression, in your behavior. And so what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying in this verse is the righteous will control all aspects of their anger. It's a normal human emotion. But you have to learn how to restrain it, to harness it, right? That there should be times when you're angry, especially when it goes against the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ and something that's against Islam. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us about restraining our anger, those who restrain their anger. And so there's many ways to do this, and I'll just briefly list a few that come directly from the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ about making wudu, cold water, right? The idea of dhikr and remembrance, taking down anger, reciting Qur'an takes down anger, changing your physical position, your movement from if you're sitting, stand, if you're standing, sit, if you're sitting, lie down, right? And then moving away from the situation that caused you anger. And this is where the Prophet ﷺ, one time a man came to him and said, advise me, O Rasulullah. And he says, don't be angry. So then he says again, he asked again, advise me. And he said again, it's the second time, don't be angry. And he asked him a third time, advise me, O Rasulullah. And he said, don't be angry. 3 times. 3 times he said to the same man, don't be angry. And so the Prophet ﷺ clearly saw something in this man to where the advice 3 times over was don't be angry. And so this idea of anger is something that actually needs to be something that we work on. That when one of us, there's another hadith where the Prophet ﷺ says, when one of you is angry, be quiet. Because when you're angry, you're more likely to say and do things that you then end up being very regretful about.